Welcome exiles to Bait or No Bait. The rules are simple. Bait builds will end you up in prison. No bait builds will end you up probably the president, maybe a king of a small country, we don't know. But point is, you want to be on the no bait side of builds, and you don't want to be playing a bait build, because that's where everything, and I mean everything, will go wrong, and you will regret your choices for eternity. Now for our first build, we have Creeping Frost Shotgun Inquisitor by Jungroan. What a beautiful man, what a friendly face, you all love him. And I got some bad news for you, because this build, it has a poisonous past. It has been tainted. Tainted by what, you ask? Plagiarism! He stole this build from Fast AF, and we at the Bait or No Bait team cannot stand for plagiarism. It's sick, it's disgusting. Imagine taking the signature shotgun Creeping Frost build from such a reputable source as Fast AF. I cannot condone it. Therefore, we have to label Jungroan as straight up bait, man. How could you do this to us? How could you betray us? Moving on, we have the real James Humphrey. And he wants to claim that he has a 40 chaos budget. But unfortunately for him, budget is a very subjective term. And what he doesn't realize is 99% of PoE players have 3 wives they have to satisfy, 15 children they have to put food on the table for, and we can only play Path of Exile for about a nanosecond every week. How in the hell are we supposed to get 40 chaos to afford this build? This build is clearly not budget and therefore is bait, people. You cannot trust this one. Well, what do we have here? Palsteron, Explosive Arrow Ballista. We've been here before at the Bait or No Bait team. We saw through this last time and we see through it this time. Palsteron is a master baiter, if you will, because he's not only trying to bait you with some flashy build, he's doing it with one he baited us with last league, as if we wouldn't even notice it's the exact same build. What kind of psychopath would run the same build multiple times in a row? Really, we can't understand the mentality or the mind of this man. He's dangerous. He should be taken down on sight. If I'm being honest, if you see this man in the road, your best option probably is to run. You could try to fight him, but there are risks involved. I would recommend staying far away from this build because it is giga bait, not just regular bait. I'm saying giga because he's doing it twice to us. On the bright side, it seems like Crouching Tuna has escaped Palsteron's basement he was being held in and forced by gunpoint to promote the Explosive Ballista build, and he now has his own build, which is a champion character. And looking at the thumbnail, you can see evasion rating 60k, armor rating 70k, movement speed 193. Honestly, the stats don't lie. He's got 100% spell suppression. This man cannot die, right? Now, unfortunately, if you are of the observant eye, you might not notice, but there is no damage number in this thumbnail. You know why? Because it's probably bad, okay? He's trying to sell us on a build where he invested into nothing but defense, and it's got ZDPS, okay? Let's just assume it does no damage. This is probably bait. Tuna, how could you do this to us? We trusted you. We trusted you. At this point, you may be wondering, where does the Bait or No Bait team get the energy to research these league starters so extensively? Some might assume a healthy dose of Adderall, or maybe some cocaine. But the team is actually fueled by Wraith Energy, a clean energy drink that comes in a powder form, easily mixed with water in a shaker cup. The team and I love Wraith Energy for its A-tier ingredients, great taste, and long-lasting energy. I personally would not promote this product if I didn't love it. Check the link in the description and use promo code CL20 for a 20% discount to support myself and our first sponsor for the channel. Thanks, Wraith Energy, for sponsoring. Crouching Tuna, a good guy, but honestly, after that bait build, my humanity's a bit broken. Hopefully, Friendly Neighborhood Badger can hook us up. He's got a lightning trap build, which, on face value, looks cool. Lightning projectiles going everywhere. Could be fun, right? But when we did some research, we did some thumbnail analytics, we discovered that in the thumbnail, Badger has "it's a trap" in one color text and lightning in a different color text. He's subliminally messaging us, the people, because deep down he still is a good man. He's trying to let us know ahead of time that this build is a trap, and in fact, it is bait. He's warning us. He didn't want to say it out loud. He did some subliminal messaging, but he let us know it's bait ahead of time. What a good guy. Thanks for being truthful about it. Next up, we got a spicy one from Kobe. He says, hey, what's the best ascendancy for Lightning Strike, boys? We got options. We could do Champion, we could do Raider, we could do Berserker, but honestly, we've done some research, and history shows that KobeBlackMamba only plays Berserkers. I'm not sure why he would try to tantalize us with a Champion or a Raider, but it appears to be a form of bait technique. And we can conclude, because he's using baiting techniques in the thumbnail itself, this is clearly a bait build, people. You don't have to go any further. Thumbnails are all you need to judge, okay? They tell the whole story. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but I already have. Up next, we got Pohx with a Righteous Fire Inquisitor. Now, the thumbnail analytics department of the Bait or No Bait team does its work in droves. They work late into the AM. They work over hours. They do not get paid overtime. And here's what they can tell you about this thumbnail. He didn't try to convince us to click onto the video. You know why? Because Pohx knows what he is selling is good stuff. He knows you click on the video, you're going to be satisfied. He doesn't want to bait you. He doesn't want to trick you into it. He wants you to be there because you just wanted to see what he has to say. Because he's a good guy. And he wouldn't lie to us. I gotta be honest with you. A man with that level of integrity clearly would not bait. Righteous Fire Inquisitor sounds like a fantastic build. We at the Bait or No Bait team have no internal bias in this matter. We simply go by the facts. And this guy does not bait, people. He does not bait. I mean, just look at the thumbnail. Who puts a thumbnail out like that and is trying to bait? No. Baiters, they have thumbnail faces, okay? Trust me on this one. Welcome back, TriPolarBear. Last time we did him a bit dirty. This time he came back with a vengeance. You know how? Because he's got a Ruetoo build. You see it, the labeling on the text, it says Ruetoo's Fire Trap Saboteur. You know what I think about Ruetoo? Ruetoo makes good builds. That is bona fide. That is true. That is factual. Unfortunately, we don't have any control over how much Ruetoo is involved in this build guide versus how much TriPolarBear is involved in this build guide. So it's going to be a semi-Ruetoo build, and so therefore we have to label it as semi-bait, because we don't really know at the Bait or No Bait team how much Ruetoo is influencing this build guide versus how much TriPolarBear is, and it's going to be in that gray area where it's kind of a risk, folks. I'm going to be honest, it's kind of a risk. Now next up, this is just sad. I don't know who in the right mind would decide to play a Trickster Righteous Fire build. Trickster, if you don't know, is the bottom tier. It is the worst. And the man who decided to play this thing has to be so high on copium, it's not even funny. He's probably depleting the copium supplies across the country. If you are in the same country as this man, you may need to consider buying copium preemptively if you need it in the future, because this man is going to cause a copium shortage. Avoid this build at all costs. I do not recommend it. I would not play it. And frankly, this is kind of gonna have to go under the Palsteron category. This man, he's crazy, okay? If you see him in public, you walk the other way. You do not want to make contact with an individual that would choose a build like this. This is an ultra bait build. Do not play this character. Oh, thankfully, we're away from the crazy person and on to GhazzyTV, a reliable minion build creator here to help us out. He says he's got a Tenkiei build. He's pointing a he's pointing a finger gun at us? Is he trying to threaten us? This seems to be a sort of manipulation tactic, if I'm honest. He's trying to suggest that if you do not play his build, he will shoot you with his finger gun. I gotta be honest, threats like that kind of make me question the integrity of this build. I don't know why an individual would need to threaten you with a finger gun to get you to play their build if it wasn't bait. This has to be bait. There's no way he would point a finger gun at us if it wasn't bait, right, people? Think about it. Just think about it. The thumbnails tell you everything. And when I say they tell you everything, the thumbnail here says it all. Yes, Lily, she's clearly having a great time. I've never seen her make facial expressions ever, and the fact that Spark Inquisitor made her make facial expressions probably means it's a good build, right? So this is probably something we can throw under the no bait category. We are strongly considering it here at the Bait or No Bait show. But unfortunately, after further review by our team, in-depth research has concluded we got another plagiarist, people. This is Gigabait. You know why? Because this is clearly copying my man Goratha, Spark Inquisitor. I don't know. I looked at the POBs. I think they have like 99% of the same genetics, maybe even 100%. It could be a carbon copy for all I know. Now, my man Goratha, he's a great dude. Unfortunately, he has to plan around hardcore and dying to disconnects. And that means this build has been custom designed, cultivated for a bad internet connection, if you will. Which means most likely it is not going to be optimized for normal internet connections. If you catch my drift, I'm trying to say, unfortunately, we have to regretfully label this as gigabait because it requires gigabad internet to play. Next up is sirgog. He's not exactly a bait or no bait contestant, as he doesn't have a league starter build from what I could tell, but we decided to keep him in here in the programming because holy guacamole, my guy, this is he's a content machine. In the past day, he's posted 5 videos. In the past month, I've posted like 5. What the hell? This guy has unlimited stamina out of 10. Honorable mention. Fantastic work, sirgog. Keep it up. Speaking of high stamina content creators, we got Path of Matth coming at us with not 1, but 3 league starters. And they all got one thing in common. They pay respect to Mathel by never hitting 5k life. Old Mathel, legacy Mathel, he was a Giga Chad. He didn't care his builds would die to one-shots on a regular basis because he dodged the one-shots. The man was a mechanical god. But lately, he's kind of catered to the noobs a little bit more. He started building defenses. And frankly, we need a new Giga Chad to take the throne of 4k life builds, and Path of Matth is here. He's here with the damage. Unfortunately, damage, it's good and all, but the defensive layers are 6 portals, and you're gonna have a bad time. These are bait builds. They are only enabled by god tier reflexes and knowing mechanics, and considering the fact the new bosses are uber, and they're gonna have new mechanics, there's no way you're going to be able to dodge it. You are going to die a lot. It is going to frustrate you. Do not play this bait build. To follow up Path of Matth, we have a polar opposite in Zizaran, a hardcore player. He's taking explosive arrow. He's making it with defenses. And all you can left thinking is, what the hell, Zizaran? You used to be a man of the people, a man who would deliver essence drain contagion guides every league. What is this? Explosive arrow, explosive disrespect to your legacy. That's a bait build. We want essence drain. We don't want explosive arrow. This is Palsteron in disguise. This is disappointment unlimited. After the disappointment from Zizaran not giving us an essence drain contagion, I can only hope that mbX won't break our hearts so thoroughly at the bait or no bait team. Now, unfortunately for us, he has kept his league starter low profile. I'm talking top secret. We sent in undercover agents to question his family members, his closest friends. And you know what we got back? We got nothing because he hasn't told a single soul. This man's playing it close to the chest. And we can only theorize about what masterful builds he's planned. And the current leading theory is, it's something that's going to be cheap on League Star, but would be ultra expensive if everyone knew about it. He is going to League Start this build. He is going to acquire the entire market for the items needed for this build. Then reveal his masterful build a few days after he's acquired the market and sell it for giga profit. I'm talking a 5-head bait build where he tantalizes us into it, and then he sells it back to us for massive profit. This is a capitalist move if I've ever seen one, and can we really trust it? No, we can't. Watch out for mbX. He is a dangerous man. Now, mbX isn't the only one that understands making fat stacks in Path of Exile. Grimro's got a mapping strategy. He's got a league starter, Corrupting Fever Gland, coming at you fast, coming at you furiously. Unfortunately, it packs absolutely no defenses, and his mapping strategy is to pick the keystone that makes you take 100% increased damage. Now, I'm no scientist, I'm no mathematician, but something tells me he's gonna die a lot. Okay, this is ultra bait. This is ultra bait, people. You are going to hate yourself a little bit for how many times you die playing this build. Avoid it at all costs. Now, up next we got Subtractem. One thing I like to think when I'm looking at these thumbnails is, that's relationship goals, man. Find you someone who looks at you like Subtractem looks at Pathfinder. That's love, people. That's love. Unfortunately, these thumbnails are missing the key element of support. Support from one individual, one absolute mega mind of build creation, and that's Zeus. If Zeus doesn't support the build, it's not a good build, people. This is, in fact, bait. Do not play these builds. Zeus doesn't recommend it, and we at the Bait or No Bait team cannot recommend it as well. Up next, we have Fyregrass coming at us hot and heavy with a league starter that somehow involves the Mage Blood. I can't quite understand the strategies he's got going on because they involve spending 16 hours a day, and I have children, so unfortunately, this is probably going to have to go under the James Humphrey category where, you know, it might be a 40C build that no one can afford because we have, you know, children and wives and stuff, and it's not all bad. He is teaching Palsteron basic mathematics, so he's kind of a good guy, but even so, this is still bait, and it's bait for the 1%ers. We're the 99%ers. We can't afford this. We gotta accept this is bait. Do not play these builds. Last but not least, we got Tenkiei coming at us with what seems to be a throw everything at the wall strategy and hope something sticks, because he's just thrown so many random builds into videos that are popular. Really, what we want to see here from the Bait or No Bait team is a build by Tenkiei, a Tenkiei original, my guy. We know you're a smart individual. We know you can make a good build. You don't have to bait us with other people's bait builds. Now, Righteous Fire is included in these lists, but we don't know what Tenkei's done to it. We don't know how he's manipulated that build, how he's tainted it from the original source. And unfortunately, I hate to do it, but we gotta label this as ultra bait, people. There's so much baiting going on here, it's not even funny. Now, what did we learn, people? What did we learn? At the end of the day, there's really only two takeaways we can get from these Bait or No Bait builds, and it's pretty simple, folks. Do play Righteous Fire. Don't play other builds. We at the Bait or No Bait team have no bias in the matter. It's simple economics, physics, science. We've done the calculations. We've run the numbers. And simply put, all other builds are bait. Righteous Fire is just that far and above that much better. That is all, folks. Thanks for watching as always. Take care, Exiles.